Fox News alert, if you're just waking up, overnight, police coming under heavy fire as violence explodes again in Ferguson, Missouri, exactly 1 year after Michael Brown's death. So why hasn't anything changed over the past years, or has it? Joining us right now to react is radio talk show host and Fox News contributor David Webb, who was in Ferguson during the riots just a year ago. Good morning to you.
Yeah, a year later to the day, August 9th, when Michael Brown was shot. Look, the Black Lives Matter movement, let's put aside the people for a moment. There are concerned people, residents of Ferguson, other communities around America. They want to deal with the issues of crime, of policing. Where there are bad cops, there's a way to deal with that. But what's happened in Ferguson, Steve, is no solutions have come to the community. I talk to the people down there still. I'll be going back there again. We have a war zone on South Florissant and West Florissant in some areas. That's what it looks like. And now you have these people that come out. Look, protest peacefully. I understand that. But they bring this out at night, which also brings out the bad element. You've got gang problems. You've got crime problems. They're not dealing with those problems. And ask the governor of Missouri, ask the so-called leaders in Ferguson, there have been some changes. What have they really done? What have they done about education, about crime? What have they done about proper community policing?
Right. Apparently what happened was, it looks like at least one 18-year-old man by the name of Tyrone Harris, whose father says he was real close to Michael Brown. He apparently opened fire on 4 St. Louis County plainclothes detectives who were in an SUV. The detectives fired back. The shooter was struck. He was taken to the hospital. I think he is in stable condition at this time.
What doesn't help this case, and I've checked out the social media on this, you've got Anonymous, for instance, posting something showing him lying on the ground saying no medical help. They're pushing this narrative. The anarchists, the other groups that become involved in this, they're the ones that when you look at this Black Lives Matter movement, largely being led by charlatans, intellectual sheep, and for that matter, useful idiots, some of them. Again, difference with those groups and those people from the people who actually want to do something. The business owners who still haven't recovered their businesses.
Apparently he is in critical, not stable condition at this
Don't
point.
Shoot at the cops. I mean, come on, let's go for a simple lesson.
Obviously.
You shoot at police officers wearing a vest that says police, they're going to shoot back.
Absolutely. Here's another story that has outraged people. Down in Alabama, in Roebuck, Alabama, a detective was beaten. He was pistol whipped until unconscious by an ex-felon. And what's terrible about this story is that people have posted photos on Facebook and social media, and they're mocking him. The suspect, Jannard Cunningham, apparently disobeyed when questioned when stopped, then hit the officer in the head with his own gun. While he was being apprehended, these things started popping up on social media.
So here's a difference in how these are reported. You have a police officer, in this case a white police officer, beaten by a 34-year-old, maybe not lifelong, but, you know, a criminal with a significant history who happens to be a black man. Where's the reporting on the crime versus the color of skin? The media will report more report more on Ferguson and the Black Lives Matter movement than they will on a criminal who happens to be black beating a police officer because he's white.
The president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Birmingham said he was laying there lifeless while people were standing around taking pictures. If the tables were turned and that was a suspect laying there, there would be rioting.
He was absolutely right. And also contrast this with what happened with the officer who was shot recently, where a resident picked up the radio and radioed it. Unfortunately, he was killed. Residents got involved. The cop's been shot. And that, by the way, in a primarily black neighborhood. So this is not black versus white or white versus black. This is good versus bad. And we have to turn around as communities and start doing something about this. The Michael Brown friend who shot at the cops, yes, he's a criminal, but he's reflective of a problem in this country and a permissive environment where the cops are now to be targeted, and they're doing this. And you know what? Hashtag diplomacy may not have worked, but hashtag outrage leads to stupid acts, and these are people's lives. And Black Lives Matter?
Sure.
How many people were shot this weekend in cities around this country by other criminals who happen to be black or any color for that matter?
And like you said earlier, just don't shoot at the cops. That's bad. All right, David, thank you very much for getting up early on this Monday morning.